Happy Wednesday morning, everybody. Welcome back in to Morning JOX. Another great day here in the Magic City. And nice and warm this morning. Well, all things considered, it's nice to walk outside and not start shivering, I guess. So it's we're getting there. It's going to get to the high 70s tomorrow, potentially, from what I understand.
And again, Groundhog's Day. Go back to
Puxatawny Phil's a big old fat liar.
Yeah, he knows.
Which I'm happy about that, but
he knows nothing.
Don't trust a groundhog, I guess, is the moral of the story there. But we appreciate you joining us here this morning. We're happy to be here. We've got a lot to get into today from an exciting night of college hoops last night. We've got more coming up tonight as well. We've got somebody bold enough to go ahead and put out a college football playoff bracket for 2026 that we can talk about as well. So we're happy to be here this morning. We'd love to hear from you, 205-834-9450 on the Courtesy GMC text line as we go along today throughout the program. And, man, because I know a lot of people probably didn't stay up, and I'll be honest, I did not watch the game, but there was a game in the Big Ten last night that it's just going to be interesting to see kind of what the aftermath of this is. But we'll get to that here in just a minute because we're going to share with you the most miserable man in college athletics. And if you listen to JOX, you maybe already can kind of guess where we're going with that. But we'll get to that here in just a moment because we do need to start off in the Southeastern Conference, of course. And really good night of basketball last night, all things considered. So not going to be a big shock to anybody that Florida hosted South Carolina and beat them by double digits. That's probably the safest bet of the night last night.
But that's for the course.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. So Florida gets a 76-62 win. Chinny Lou, 15.7 rebounds there for Florida. That'll play. That's pretty good. Meechie Johnson, he had 22 for South Carolina, so continued to be able to do some nice things offensively, just like he did against Alabama and South Carolina's last game. But Florida, they're the class of the conference right now, and South Carolina's kind of on the exact opposite end of that spectrum. So they're now 11-15 overall, 2-11 in the conference, and then Florida, they're 20-6 overall, 11-2 in the conference. So I mean, literally the exact opposite. It continues to be a rough season there for the Gamecocks, and Florida continues to march towards the postseason like the team that we thought they all would be coming into the year. You also had LSU almost get their third win of conference play as they took on the Texas Longhorns last night. Texas, one of those teams right now that just needs to continue winning games to find themselves in the NCAA tournament. And right now, got to feel like they're in a pretty solid spot. But they get the win 88-85. They absolutely were dominating LSU in the first half, and then LSU dominated Texas in the second half. But Texas just did a little bit more in the first half that they were able to hang on and get the 3-point victory. So LSU, they are now also 2-11 in the SEC alongside South Carolina, but they're 14-12 on the season overall. And then Texas now, they're 8-5. In conference play. So not bad for Sean Miller in his first year, right? Because you remember Texas early on, like they beat Alabama. I think they beat Vanderbilt. And you're like, okay, like making some things happen. And they lost to some teams that probably shouldn't have lost to after beating those two. And now they've kind of gotten back on track and seemed like they're definitely going to be an NCAA tournament team. So a nice win there for Texas. But the big one, a little bit of a surprise last night because you had at Rupp Arena Georgia and Kentucky. And I think based on, how Kentucky had been playing lately, you started to feel a little more confident in them. And then they reminded you that it is the 2025-2026 version of the Wildcats because Georgia takes them down 86-78. They're on the road in Lexington. So Georgia outscores them in the first half, outscores them in the second half, and a really, really big win for Georgia as they had started to kind of fall into that bubble area for the NCAA tournament. That win last night will certainly help them. But you got Blue Kane. He went for 20 points there for Georgia. You had Jeremiah Wilkinson. He had 19. They shot 45% from deep. So that'll certainly go a long way. And then you look at Kentucky. Not that they necessarily played horribly, but you shoot 60% from the free throw line at home.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's yeah.
I get you every time.
I feel like I know what they're going to be practicing a little bit over the next couple of days, but you turn it over 13 times, and if you're watching the game, it was a 3-point game late, and Kentucky had kind of surged back, and you're all right, they're about to really do this, and you had Otega Oweh. He dribbled the ball off his foot, goes out of bounds. Georgia goes back down, gets an and one, and that was it. So the turnover there, they had 13 turnovers on the night, and that last one really, really killed him there. But Otega Oweh, he had 28 points to lead the way for Kentucky, which tied his career high. So Georgia, they get a nice win, 6-7 now in the conference, and Kentucky falls to 8-5. But certainly, that's going to go a long way for Georgia towards cementing their status as an NCAA tournament team. And people have thrown out 11 teams. I'm still thinking 9 seems to be the floor. I feel like 9's the floor, 10 feels about right, and 11 is like we get a little.
Are they really?
We get a little
really deserve that spot?
But I'll take it. So we'll see how it all kind of plays out. But if you're curious how the top of the standings go now in the SEC, so you have Florida at 11-2, then Arkansas at 9-3. Then you have a trio of teams at 8-4. We got Vanderbilt, Tennessee, and Alabama. So obviously you can see if Alabama beats Arkansas tonight, at that point you're then going to be tied for second place in the conference, and you would have the tiebreaker over Arkansas there. So that's a big opportunity for Alabama tonight. But then you got Kentucky and Texas at 8-5. Missouri A&M are both at 7-5, and then everyone else is right there under 500. Georgia 6-7, Auburn 5-7, and everyone else is unfortunately not going to be making the NCAA tournament. Really doesn't have much of an argument there for that. So we going to be an exciting home stretch here. We got most teams have 5 games left, some have 6 in conference play before it'll be time for the conference tournament. But as I said, a big one coming up tonight, no doubt about it, as you're going to have Alabama and Arkansas. That's going to be a top 25 matchup tonight. I know a lot of people are going to be excited for that one down in Coleman Coliseum. And then you're also going to have, another opportunity for Auburn as they're going to take on Mississippi State. And obviously the question there is Keyshawn Hall going to come back? According to Stephen Pearl, he's practicing. He had a great practice on Monday, hoping he had a great practice yesterday, and then we'll see where we are. So I know some people were, worried that he might not play for the rest of the season. That's not going to happen, but we'll see if he plays tonight or if maybe it's he comes back this week in kind of a situation. But I mean, I wouldn't be shocked to see him out there tonight, but it depends on how he responded behind closed doors, and that is something that we just don't know. And
that's kind of where I'm at with it too. If it's just a 1-game suspension, you got the wake up call, fine, we can go from here. But the biggest thing is, like I said, I don't know how Stephen Pearl may have handled it, how the discussion happened, but you sat him down, and obviously he's responded well enough in practice the past couple of days. He's like, hey, okay, we're figuring it out.
Yeah.
It's still just going to be a work in progress. But, again, he's your best player. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. You're a better team, maybe slightly, but you're still a better team when he's on the floor for you, because at least you've got a consistent score on the floor. And hopefully, again, it's this team, if they make the tournament, all you need is a chance. And talking to Auburn fans yesterday, they're like, "Oh, I wouldn't want this team in the tournament." You would much rather you're in a better boat if you make the NCAA tournament, because anything can possibly happen.
Yeah.
Now, you don't feel confident that it's going to happen, but again, who says if you make it out of the first weekend, you consider this entire season a success.
Absolutely.
So I'm looking at this Auburn team of, hey, you get them back. Let's get this thing on track for as long as we can ride the wave and let the chips fall where they may.
No, I think you're absolutely right, and you never know what kind of draw you're going to get, and I think we agree that this Auburn team and to a certain degree this Alabama team as well, right? Like you feel like they're limited in what they're going to be able to do, but again, I know Auburn hasn't been playing well of late, but you're telling me the team that beat Florida on the road earlier this season, like, couldn't go and find a way to win a game or two in the NCAA tournament? I'm not saying they will, but I think they very likely could. So Yeah, there's a lot left to play for. And again, you never know. You get hot at the right time, and you never really know what could happen there. So, your slate tonight: Alabama hosting Arkansas. That's a top 25 matchup at 6 o'clock there. You'll be able to see that one on ESPN. Alabama, a 4.5 point favorite. They're over the Hogs right now. Also at 6, Ole Miss at Texas A&M, Oklahoma at Tennessee, and then at 8 o'clock you're going to have Vanderbilt and Missouri. That's another big game for Missouri, especially trying to get submitting themselves in the NCAA tournament. And then at 8 o'clock you can hear it right here on JOX. Auburn at Mississippi State. Auburn 4.5 point favorite on the road. And again, we will wait and see if we get the return of one Keyshawn Hall tonight against the Bulldogs. But that's what's going on in SEC basketball country as we kind of move along. And if you missed the show yesterday, we told you kind of the latest bracketology for both teams heading into tonight. Most people agreeing Alabama a 4 seed. Some have them as a, Jill already has them as the last 4 seed. I've seen like Rocco Miller has them as a 5 seed. So, kind of right there on that 4-5 line. But a win tonight certainly seems like they would move up on that 4 seed line, maybe just a little bit. And then Auburn seems to be a 9 seed. That's pretty consensus right now from what I've seen. I know some people don't have them in the tournament, but that's because I think it was Jerry Palm that didn't have them in his bracket. And it's because he didn't expect them to win enough games to get there. It's not based on what they've done so far. It's him projecting out the rest of the season. But right now, Auburn's still looking pretty good as a 9 seed there. So, as Damian said, you never know. Get in the dance and give it your best shot. So, an exciting night of SEC hoops coming up tonight. But I do want to take a look back at something else outside of the SEC. And we've got to go to the Big Ten for this. So, we're going to take a quick break. But on the other side, the most miserable man in college athletics. And it would have taken everything in me not to. I would have been tempted to throw hands with this guy last night. I'm not going to lie. This is a little out there. So we'll share that with you next here on Morning Jocks. 6:18. Welcome back into Morning Jocks. Conrad Van Order, Damian Mitchell with you until 7 o'clock here. That's Jeezy's best song, in my opinion.
Best?
That's my favorite.
It's top. For me, it's top 5.
I mean, there's a lot of good ones to pick from, but that would be mine.
He's got some bangers. It's up there for sure.
He's got some good ones, no doubt.
Standing Ovation is my number 1.
Okay. Yeah,
that's my number 1.
There's a lot of options out there.
No, for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Sure. All right. Anyways, getting back to college basketball and everything that's going on. We do quick reminder: UAB also they're going to be in action tonight on the road against Temple, and so as we know, that'll be a win for UAB because it's a conference game on the road. That's their bread and butter. So good luck there to the Blazers tonight. Try to get back on track after the tough loss to Tulane this past weekend there at Bartow. But all right, let's get to some Big Ten and the most miserable man in college athletics. And you probably know where I'm going with that. It would be Mick Cronin, the head coach of UCLA basketball. But if you're not familiar with him and the fact that he is just constantly, he's always upset about something. There's always something wrong. And, you know, he kind of went viral a couple of days ago for a pretty entertaining clip where he was talking about how, you know, international players coming into college basketball and how he wants like a giant vodka drinking European on his team. And like, those are the kinds of guys that he wants. And like, oh, okay. Yeah. No, I mean, he's having some fun with it, whatever. He wasn't having fun last night. Was not having fun. And to be fair, UCLA now back-to-back losses to the Michigan schools. So Michigan beat them 86-56 over the weekend. Then Michigan State last night beats them 82-59. So that's pretty rough. And so if you saw on social media, you happened to be watching the game or catch some highlights, Mick Cronin actually ejected his own player from the game last night. I've never seen that happen before.
I don't think it ever has.
But essentially what you had was you had a fast break for Michigan State. Guy from UCLA is trying to run down the court. In my opinion, it looks like, dude, got these bugs out of here. All right. It looked like, in my opinion, he was going to try to block the leg. I understand there are times where somebody will come up behind a guy and like essentially grab their shoulders and pull him down. That's a hard foul. This didn't quite look like that to me. It looked like he was going to try to make a play on the ball. Anyways, foul under the basket. Michigan State guy gets up and kind of bows up, and the UCLA player kind of bows up, and then they separate. And so Mick Cronin threw his player out of the game. And as Damian said, don't think I've ever seen that one before. So that was already bad enough. So you get blown out by 23 points in a game that you had a big opportunity there to get a nice win on your resume. And then you have the post-game press conference. And I'm just going to let you play this. This is an exchange now between Mick Cronin and a member of the media that covers UCLA basketball. Please, this is real, by the way.
What was your thought in the student section chanting Booker's name?
I could give a rat's ass about the other team's student section.
I just meant the overall the way that you
I would like to give you a kudos for the worst question I've ever been asked.
All right, I'll take it.
Did you like
You should take it.
the preparation of the...
Do you really think I care about the other team's
No, I don't.
student
I don't
section?
think you care about the other.
Are you
team.
raising your voice at me?
No, I'm just.
Yeah, you are.
talking.
Yeah, you are. Come on, dude.
I'm not raising.
Come on. Yes, you are. Everybody's standing here listening to you. Everybody. This is on camera. They can hear you. I answered the question. I could give a rat's ass about the other team's student section. I coach UCLA. I don't care about Michigan State students. I mean, who cares?
All right, so there you go. That's Mick Cronin last night with a member of the media, and as you can tell, the guy was very clearly not raising his voice. Mick Cronin was being ugly to him, which, I mean, fine, whatever. If you don't like the question, okay, so be it. But to essentially continue going after him after that, and because he could have left it right there, and you know, you asked the worst question, the guy was like, all right, haha, I'll take it, you know, whatever, trying to laugh it off. And then Mick Cronin continues, and then, you know, to call somebody out as, oh, you're raising your voice at me, these cameras are rolling, and Mick Cronin doesn't realize, yeah, that looks so bad on you. You're the one that everybody's going to be making fun of. And I don't know UCLA basketball fans. I would love if somebody out there listening to this is a fan to call in and let us know, but like he's becoming an embarrassment to UCLA basketball. And obviously, I mean, we weren't alive, but we all know about John Wooden and the legacy of that program. And that's, I mean, historically, one of the probably 3 most important college basketball programs of all time. And this guy is a massive embarrassment to the game of college basketball. He is a miserable human being, and he's a schmuck. And in my opinion, if you're UCLA, you don't need somebody like that representing your program. And so I don't know what this means for him moving forward. I'll tell you what, they're playing UCLA next. They're probably going to get smoked, or excuse me, UCLA is playing Illinois next. So they're probably going to get smoked again. But this guy has been so miserable for so long. And now to get to a point where you're getting blown out in a game and you have, in my opinion, what was a player giving a lot of effort to run and chase down a block potentially, and you're going to eject him for that because he tried to bow up against another guy that was coming at him. And then you want to call out a reporter and have that kind of an attitude. It's embarrassing if you're UCLA that man is representing your university. And in my opinion, he has no place in Division I college basketball.
Bro, I just saw the play. It's just basketball. Like, emotions get high. That's what I'm saying. Adrenaline's going. And the crazy thing is, it's a nothing burger. Like, it's a hard foul on a fast break. He doesn't want the guy to score. They get into each other's face, and they move on. Like, it could have been it could have been like, hey, I'm going to sit you down for a couple minutes just to cool down, just to cool off. Like, hey, I don't want you to make this any bigger than what it is and just go on about your day. But the way he handled that, it's such a cowardly way out. Like, this, I'm kind of with you. The things that we've heard from Mark Cronin the past couple years, it's just, if you have such a disdain for what you do every day as your job, then retire. Resign, get out.
He sounds like he hates the kid, like straight up hates. And it's every year. It's not, oh, well, this batch of kids, which first off, you're the coach, it's your fault.
Right.
But also, it's like every year he hates everybody. I really do think he just hates everybody, and he just needs to go live in a hole somewhere by himself because he is a miserable human being. But when I saw that last night, of him ejecting his own player, you're like, okay, this press conference is going to be electric. Like, we're going to get some crazy stuff said here. And that's not what I thought was going to come out of it.
Nah.
But here we are. But, yeah, I mean, you've seen it now. So, I mean,
yeah, it's like, bro, it's basketball. If anything, I'm pulling him to the side and say, hey, one, love the effort. Appreciate it, man. Because
you're getting blown out, and that's the effort you're still giving?
We have no dog in this fight anymore. The game is kind of in hand, but I appreciate what you have done. Let's just chill out, take a breather. I'm going to put you back in 1-2 minutes, get your emotions in check. Go back out there and just give me that kind of effort the rest of the way. We can work with this. But instead, he tries to make an example out of him and ejects him. It's for what? Like, maybe I'm with you. It's, if you are having this miserable of a time as being a head coach, you have the opportunity, you have the choice to either retire, resign. I mean, look, Jerome Tang for Kansas State basically just said, hey, my team ain't, we're just a collection of guys. We're paying them now. It's a whole different ordeal. And Kansas State fired him because it gave them, I guess, the public image of him being the head coach and being critical of his own team is just too much. And they fired him for a cause. So, like, in situations like this, I'm UCLA, we don't need this. Like, this is something, like you said, we're UCLA. We are one of the most important programs in college basketball. You can look at our history. Like, what we do here is at the elite of the elite. And Mark Cronin is not representing that.
No.
Like, to me, this could have been handled so differently. And then you get to the press conference, and just because you're ticked off, you take it on a report. He's like, all right, cool. Like, okay, now I see where this is going. And because, again, he's asking you could, like you said, he could have just said, hey, that's a dumb question. All right, next. And nothing would have been made of this. But instead, he wants to say, are you raising your voice at me? And if I'm a reporter, I'm like, okay, and if I am, what? Your team is the one that went out there and put that product on the floor, not me. I just asked the question. So I think collectively, it's like, if you're Tom Izzo, you're probably just thinking, man, it could be a lot worse. It could be a lot worse. Of, hey, sorry we put you in this position, but also we're getting ready for tournament time. It didn't really matter who was on the other side. This was going to happen. But just to see how miserable that he's experienced, like, he's having this experience as the UCLA head basketball coach. If you don't want to do it, get out. Simple.
Well, the good news for him is that he will get fired at the end of this year because UCLA has not been good the last few years. So obviously he went to the Final Four in 2020, 2021. That's the year they beat Alabama on their way to the Final Four. And then the next couple of years made it to the Sweet 16, but now 3 straight years without a Sweet 16. Missed the tournament in 2023. Made it to the won one game and was out in the round of 32 in 2024. And now this year they are, probably going to be, again, like a 9-10 seed type of team potentially, and just not a lot of expectations. But yeah, this is embarrassing. And again, if you look at the team and you go, I don't really know what we're going to do in March anyways, you maybe just kind of go ahead and pull the trigger because that's embarrassing right there, what you had from Mick Cronin. But probably not going to be at UCLA too much longer, and hopefully we don't have to deal with that guy anymore because I'm glad he's not in the SEC, man. That would just be such an embarrassment to the conference. But to each their own, I suppose, there. So that's the most miserable man in college athletics. I hope you enjoyed that if you missed that last night. But that's enough basketball. We can get that out of the way. Now let's get to a little bit of college football because somebody was bold, and they've told us we don't even need to watch the season, Damian. They have projected the college football playoff bracket for 2026. We'll share it and give our thoughts next on Morning JOX. Welcome back into Morning JOX, 6:33 here on your Wednesday morning. Conrad and Damien with you until 7 o'clock when we'll hand you off to McElroy and Kublik in the morning. And we're about to share with you an early college football playoff bracket that Brett McMurphy posted yesterday. And I'll go ahead and tell you 4 SEC teams, so that's okay. Like, not the 5 we got this year, but 4. Okay, like, we can work with that, but
It's
we'll
a down year.
Yeah, it is. That's right. Absolutely right. It's a down year. It's like this year with the NCAA tournament, we might only get 10 or 11 teams in. You know, it's a down year for the SEC, but you know, if that's a down year, I'll certainly take that. But I just thought it was funny as we're going through the talking about the UCLA stuff there with Mick Cronin a minute ago, and out of nowhere, somebody just on the text line 205-834-9450, as we were talking about Mick Cronin. Greg Sankey is a clown. Why wouldn't you agree to a 24-team playoff? You would basically get so many more SEC teams in the playoffs, and that's all about money.
Also, I don't think there are 24 teams that deserve a shot of winning the national championship.
And that would be my problem with the playoff, is the only reason you're doing it at that point is for money. And yes, we understand that's what matters at the end of the day, but I think that's why they are very clearly letting you know that they don't want to go to 20, because the Big Ten doesn't want to go to 24. Like, That's the problem, is everyone's like, oh, well, that's what they want. No, that's not what they want. That's what Fox wants. So that's what the Big Ten wants, because that's not what the coaches want. That's not what the athletic directors want. So, yeah, the Big Ten people that are puffing out their chests like, ooh, the SEC isn't going to agree to what the Big Ten. You don't want that either. You're just listening to what Fox is telling you to do, because they want money that they're not getting because they don't have a piece of the pie of the college football playoff. So let's get that straight, because I know a lot of people don't understand that, but the Big Ten doesn't want a 24-team playoff either. It's not good.
No.
Because like you said, there's not 24 teams that deserve to be in a playoff. Most years, this year was an exception, there's not even going to be 12.
Right.
And this year was the exception. There were probably 14. Well, actually, no, there were 12, but we put James Madison and
Tulane. Yeah.
So there really were 12. I take that back. But, yeah, no, Greg Sankey's not a clown for doing that. He's standing up for, the fact that we don't need a 24-team college football play, and he realizes that, and he understands that we've got a lot of money. We don't have to go that far with it. So yeah, don't get that twisted. Like the Big Ten is sitting there like they have this grand scheme idea that the SEC just can't even fathom why they would do that. No, it's all about money, because the Big Ten is in bed with Fox, and the SEC's in bed with ESPN, and ESPN has the playoff, and Fox wants part of that. That's all that is. So sorry for the little lesson there this morning. But
simple economics.
Let's think about things for a second before we say that. All right. Now let's get to the college football playoff here. So I thought this was interesting. So Brett McMurphy, he shared his 12-team bracket because, again, remember, it's going to be 12 teams again in 2026. And the only change is that Notre Dame now gets the benefit of the doubt, where if they're in the top 12 of the the college football playoff rankings, they're guaranteed a spot in the playoff, even if, a group of 5 team were to get in because of the bid, the way the bids work, whatever. So basically Notre Dame gets a little bit of an easier path than everyone else is the same. Shocker. All right, so let's start off with the 12-5 matchup, why don't we? And it's going to be 2 schools from the state of Texas. We've got 4 schools from the state of Texas in the playoff, according to Brett McMurphy.
Everything's bigger in Texas, baby.
Absolutely. So that would be your UTSA Roadrunners.
Excuse me?
That's going to be your G5 rep. Yep, that's who he has being the highest ranked group of 5 program.
Okay.
I guess with, Bob Chesney going to UCLA, John Summerall going to Florida. Maybe you're just assuming that some of those programs that had been in that spot are going to fall a little bit with a new coach in place. That's where I assume he's going with that, but watch out for UTSA, apparently.
I see.
And they're going to take on the Texas Longhorns, who will be the 5 seed.
Oh.
So I'm assuming based on this he has Texas losing the SEC championship game because they are the second highest seeded SEC team.
Okay, fair.
So we've got UTSA Texas. The winner of that one would play the 4 seed, the Miami Hurricanes.
Okay. ACC champions, I'm assuming.
I can see that. And I thought this was, because we talked about this briefly on 3-Man Front yesterday, and it was, man, do you trust that Miami could just replicate what they did this year again next year? And I understand, again, it's Miami, it's crystal ball. Like, I understand why some people would have their reservations. Like, they barely got in this year, but then they showed that they were actually the second best team. But then I thought about it. I'm like, do I feel better about this Miami team going into the year with Darian Minson than I did about Carson Beck? And I think the answer to that is yes.
Yeah.
For me. But I do think on the defensive side of the ball, a
That's
lot
the
of
biggest-
production you got to replace.
That's the biggest question mark.
Yeah.
That's the biggest question
A
mark.
lot of production there. All right, now let's go to the other side of the bracket. You're 11-6. He has the Oklahoma Sooners, the 11 seed, taking on the 6 seed Texas Tech Red Raiders.
Okay. I can.
If you've looked at Texas Tech's schedule, they should be in the playoff in
Correct.
their sleep.
Correct.
They have probably the easiest schedule, and I haven't looked at everyone's schedule, but of all the ones I've seen, they have by far the easiest.
And they got what? Brendan Sorsby.
Yeah, they've got a $6.5 million quarterback.
Yeah.
Gonna be good defensively, I would
Malcolm
imagine.
Simmons.
Yeah, they did get Malcolm
SEC.
Simmons. You're right.
Tie.
You're
Big
right.
Auburn guy. Okay.
And then, so the winner of that game, Texas Tech and Oklahoma, they're going to play Ohio State, the 3 seed.
3 seed Ohio State.
Yes. So that would be your Big Ten champion, Ohio State, based on his bracket. All right, then we'll go to the 10-7 matchup. We have another SEC team. That would be the 10 seed Texas A&M Aggies. They're going to take on, at the 7 seed, the Indiana Hoosiers.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay. Signetti still rolling.
Yep.
Still rolling.
Josh Hoover going to come in there, pick up the ball from Mendoza, and
Say, I got you, brother.
and keep on keeping on. All right, so the winner of A&M in Indiana, they would play the SEC champion,
The Ole Miss Rebels.
the Georgia Bulldogs.
Georgia Bulldogs. All right.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
All right.
And then on the other side, the final quadrant, you would have the Oregon Ducks, the 8 seed Oregon Ducks. They would be taking on the 9 seed Utah.
The Big 12? Utah?
Utah.
No Kyle Whittingham? Utah?
Devin Dampier, baby. And I mean, to be fair, right, they were up there like this year. Like they were, like 14th or something like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
they were close.
They were in the conversation.
They were
Well, they
so-
weren't seriously in the conversation, but they were in like
They were close.
they were in the last 4 out, or maybe the next 4 out if we're doing it in NCAA tournament terms.
Yeah, they were close.
And then they will face, in the next round, the winner of that game, Oregon, Utah, the number 1 overall seed and his eventual national champion. You know who it is.
Stop.
You know who it is.
Stop. Do they have a conference?
No, they don't. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish are going to win your 2026-2027 national championship and be the number 1 overall seed heading into the college football playoff.
Listen,
My only problem with that is I don't have a problem if you pick them to win the national championship or in the playoff. I don't think they're going to be a number 1 seed because they're not going to have somebody, whether it's the Big Ten or the SEC champion, is going to win an SEC title game against probably another top 5 team. That's my only thing is I find it hard to believe that you're going to let an undefeated Notre Dame team that really has a pretty easy schedule just be the number 1 seed because you felt bad that they got left out this year.
Right. Now, it could be one of the best revenge stories ever. A team that, this past season, they opted out of everything once they got screwed over in the final college football playoff rankings. Then they end up being the number 1 overall seed and win the national championship. I can have a conversation with you if they are your team, if that is your team to win the national title. But I'm with you. Unless everybody else just has a demoralizing loss, I can't see them being a number 1 overall seed. That's a stretch.
I mean, they're going to play seriously. This is Notre Dame's schedule next year. So they play Miami. Like that's a good game. Just like we saw this year.
That's assuming you knocked them off.
Yeah, they're going undefeated.
Right.
Based on his projection, I would assume. But other than that, Wisconsin, Rice, Michigan State, Purdue, North Carolina, Stanford, Navy, Boston College, SMU, Syracuse, and BYU.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you this right now.
There's not a big.
If you were to ask me to put money on one team to make the playoff next year, it's Notre Dame.
Right.
Because they got a chip on their shoulder and they have an easy schedule just like Texas Tech. It would be those two because there's no reason that they shouldn't. Like, if they don't make the playoff, they should probably fire their head coach because they would be like that's just how easy their path is, right?
I agree with you 100%.
And they're not going to fire Marcus Freeman. I'm being exaggerating, but yeah, I find it hard to believe even if you go 12-0 that you're. I mean,
They got to beat folks by 60.
yeah,
Like they have to remove all doubt.
yeah, okay, yeah. You beat your whole schedule by 30 plus. Let's have a conversation.
Right.
You beat Miami by 30 plus. Sure. You beat BYU on the road by 30. Sure. But
number 1 overall seed?
yeah,
That's a stretch.
I'm sure that I wouldn't be shocked at all to find out that they got a bye or we're a top 4 seed. But I just find it hard to believe just based on the way that it's going to work out with. Like last year, right? Like you may have a situation where you've got, 2 top 3 teams in a conference championship game and the winner's going to be the 1 seed and the loser's going to be number 2, right?
Right.
Like we saw with Indiana, Ohio State. So that's just kind of where I'm at with that one. But yeah, Notre Dame going to be your champion. So in terms of the SEC, again, 4 teams are going to get in according to Brett McMurphy: Texas, Oklahoma, A&M, and Georgia. I know you would have Ole Miss in there.
Yeah.
If you were to
but
take
their schedule, when you look at it, I can understand if they're on the outside looking in.
for Ole Miss,
Yeah.
Yeah.
LSU, they're the wild card because on paper it looks like it's supposed to work, but
we
then
think
again,
they will be good enough to be a playoff team. We just
right. I mean, everybody else you can give me a conversation on Oklahoma because that means John Mateers finally flipped the script, and we saw what we saw in the first month of this past season. We saw it the entire ride.
That's the one that stands out to me because I just feel like I've seen a lot of people that do these early projections that have Oklahoma in.
Right.
And that would be the one SEC team that I would be probably the least. Not, again, I absolutely can see them being back in the playoff, but I guess a little surprised that a lot of people are just kind of, oh, yeah, they're going to be right back.
Is their defense as good as it was this past season?
And if not, is John Mateer able to elevate his game? Because if he's the same as this year, they're not a playoff team without that defense yet.
Yeah, but as far as Georgia, Texas, I can understand that. Texas A&M, it's hard not to. Like you've shown me this past season that it can be done.
Yeah.
Can you continue? That's and I wouldn't be. Listen, for as much disdain as I have for Texas A&M, what I saw this past season, it's hard not to think that they were not one of the best teams playing college football. Can you double down?
And my thing with A&M is, just looking at their schedule, you've got LSU, so you're on the road at LSU, on the road at Alabama, on the road at Oklahoma. I mean, that's 3 teams that we would expect not to necessarily make the playoff, but be in the conversation, right? Those are all 3 tough games. You've got Texas at the end of the season at home. I mean, again, right there, like, if you go 2-2 in those 4 games, then yeah, you're probably making the college football playoff as long as you don't trip up somewhere else. But that's going to be a tough stretch for anybody.
Yeah, I'm not too mad about what Brett McMurphy's done. And again, the G5, you can pull them out of a hat. I'd say like, yeah, go rock with them.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of people are kind of riding the Dan Mullen train at UNLV. Maybe he gets back
Jackson
to the
Arnold.
playoff.
They have Jackson Arnold.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, they have Jackson Arnold.
Okay, never mind. They're not making the playoff. Yeah.
They're a lot closer to the Birmingham Bowl than they are the.
Yeah, Dan Mullen might get fired at that point. Man, I forgot that he got.
Oh yeah.
There's always those couple of guys that you're going to turn on, the TV this fall and go, oh man, I forgot that's where you went.
Mm-hmm.
What if he's really good?
I've asked that for 3 years now. Now it's kind of, until proven otherwise, he is exactly who I think he is.
Yeah.
It's all good though.
Probably.
Again, a change of scenery. It could be better.
3rd time's the charm, right?
Absolutely. That's TJ Finley. 7 times the charm.
Yeah, TBD on that one, I guess. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that's just an early look. It's just, look, it's February. This doesn't mean anything, right? We're all just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks, basically, at this point. But it's still fun to have the conversation. So that's our first look at an early college football playoff bracket for 2026. But we'd love to hear from you, 205-834-9450 on the Courtesy GMC text line. Any surprises there for you? Do you agree, disagree? Maybe you think Alabama's going to be in the playoff. Maybe you think Auburn is going to, surprise everybody and find themselves in the college football playoff. Or maybe you think the SEC is going to continue to go downhill and maybe we only get 2 or 3 teams in the playoff this year. We'd love to hear from you, your thoughts. We'll get to those next on Morning Jocks.
Welcome back into Morning JOX. Damien and Conrad here with you for a few more moments as we get you set for Mac and Cube in the morning, coming up at the top of the hour. Let me tell you about our friends at Hometown Roofing and Restorations. Trusted experts for your roofing needs. Over 1,200 roofers in the Birmingham area. Make sure you can call someone you can trust. Hometown Roofers is family-owned, grounded in faith, and community-oriented. Their customer satisfaction focus with your needs in mind, so you can count on honest communication. Listen, guys, the goal is to get it right the first time. If it's an insurance claim, call Hometown. They'll take the ball for you, so you don't have to worry about the red tape and back and forth with the insurance company. Only top quality materials. Hometown is certified with 2 of the best national brands of shingle, and they offer lifetime material warranties. Financing also available. Wonder if you have an aging roof or roof damage? Hometown offers free inspections. Rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau. They can also handle siding, windows, gutters, and minor remodels. Give them a call at 205-984-4777 or visit htroofers.com. Again, that number is 205-984-4777 or visit htroofers.com. Hometown Roofing and Restorations, doing it right the first time.
All right, we're going to wrap things up here on the Courtesy GMC text line, 205-834-9450. Some of your thoughts on a variety of topics we've mentioned here on the show. So this one rolls in. It says, Notre Dame plays Wisconsin at Lambeau this year. Last time the Badgers played there was in 2016, and they played number 5 LSU and beat them. The Badgers just played different at that place, so don't count them out against Notre Dame early in the season. Well, that would certainly that would hurt Brett McMurphy's prediction.
Oh, yeah.
If they were to lose to Wisconsin and a not very good Wisconsin team, based on what we've seen the last couple of years. This text ruined my day. And not like in a – it rocked me to my core when I read this because I hadn't thought about this. But we shared with you yesterday, if you saw the story about Ryan Williams getting engaged, and I was able to confirm that is actually real. I did not think it was at first. And there was – because it was a bunch of social media chatter, all that kind of stuff that gets blown out of proportion in today's day and age. But thanks to Nick Kelly of AL.com, he was able to confirm that it's real. He's engaged. And somebody texted this in, and it says, Morning, y'all. Just wanted to let you know Ryan Williams' fiance is older than Bill Belichick's girlfriend. And that is, based on what I understand, that is accurate.
They ain't got to do my boy Bill like that, man.
As I said yesterday, I'm sure the Alabama fans are going to react totally normally to all of this moving forward. Drake chimes in. He says, looking at my Gators last night, happy for the win. I can't think of his name, but the guard from South Carolina who led them in scoring is a dog. That would be Michi Johnson. He's a good player. He is a good player, no doubt about it. Somebody chimes in and they say, 20 teams is the best number. Your rebuttal was voided when you said this year would have been the exception for that.
Did you listen to the number that he said?
Did we really need to see Iowa and Virginia in the playoff this year? Would that have made you feel like it was more competitive?
Absolutely not.
Don't think we need to see that. I just no. Nobody needed to see that. I'm sorry. And we're not going from 16 to 20. It's that 20 is not going to be the number. And this one says, no way Auburn does anything next season. Not with John C. in charge of the program. They're soft. We'll be back tomorrow. Mac and Cube is next.